I'm back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she walk that thing jiggle.
And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, yeah, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this my, back in my bag flow.
Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything in Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche.
Steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson face, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to busy. At the Millies, out on Club Hearst. Give the word if it's a city, Lord forgive me. Still having motion, dog, so why would I slow it? Make it rain on them, bust a band, then you throw it. We was steady having it, even at our lowest. High speed road runner, keep my motor going.
Hey, people feel away, but they don't show it. Gotta watch the people that's around you, that you grow it. They be coming around you with some plans to steal your moment. Soon as I bust a nut, she be like, baby, where you going? Never slowing down, it's enough to go around. Yeah, you probably knew it's then, but really you don't know it's now. Niggas let it show and tell, but all my niggas know me well. It was either chase a dream or go to jail, but none of us ain't going.
And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, yeah, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this my, back in my bag flow,
Yeah, not for real. Double I. Do or die, you already know. Don't try. This at home, cause none of y'all really fucking with us.
Murray. Got the world in a spin. Blades in my hand, got the world in a spin. Javon's knife flicks, let the show begin. Every move sharp like the edge I hold. Stories untold, sharper than gold. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back. Clicks and views, yeah, they fly like sparks. Knives in the dark, carving out my mark. From ballad songs, flipping to the sickest tricks. Javon's knife flicks, where legends are lit. Every video's fresh like a polished blade. Precision and grind, that's how dreams get paid. Cutting through limits, breaking the streak. Javon on the rise, every fan's heartbeat. From tutorials fire to unboxings insane. Content so slick, you won't leave the lane. Blood, sweat, crisp, stealing every flick. In Javon's world, sharp is the only pick. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back.
Sun went out because we only had a little bit, but are you high on cigarettes? And when that stuff runs out, you're gonna wanna make it. Are you high on cigarettes?
Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Do you know that you're right or wrong? 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 He don't smoke 'em, but he loves it when you do. That's why he's higher on cigarettes. And if you find him, you should light him up a few. He's getting higher on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. what she wants, witness and get high on cigarettes. Do you know that you're right or wrong? 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 Do you know that you're right or wrong?
You finds night flicks. Come check this for all of the flicksters who can't sleep. The flicksters, the clicksters, all of the late night lames. You watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. If you wanna watch, pull up a chair. The late night flicksters, come gather round. A part of the late night EPC night community. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. You're watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. You're watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. I can't sleep, so I tune in to Juvon's Night Flicks. Juvon's Night Flicks. You're watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. You're watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. I can't sleep, so I tune in to Juvon's Night Flicks. Juvon's Night Flicks. You're watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. You're watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. Watching the Insomniacs sit and spin. I can't sleep, so I tune in.
There's too much water in that kettle. And now the lid's on crooked. And that means disaster for this lady. Because she is on a boat. Don't boil a kettle on a boat.
What is up, guys? Hopefully y'all can hear me and see me. We got people already filing in here. I always watch the end of Tri-State, and if he goes off early, I don't know how 11:15 got put in there. I'm sure I do. I probably put it in there by mistake. But when Tri-State ends, I usually give it a few minutes, and we'll try to start closer to 10. Thanks, Geek Machinist. Good to see everybody. Geek Machinist channel members in the house, as in Richard Hopkins, channel member. Stephen Wallace is in the house. Brother Derek for real, channel members in the house. Bama Ninja's in the house. Who else do we have in here? I saw earlier Paul Mills, channel members in the house. Mrs. Kathleen Smith is in the house and a channel member also. I appreciate all you guys. Channel members or not, I just appreciate y'all being here. We should have a good time tonight. Got several things to look into and talk about, and just really field any topics of interest that y'all have. I would like to make it Tuesday nights, like I've always said. Hey, look, Chusa. What's going on, Chusa? Who else we got in here? Joe Isabella was in here earlier. I think he jumped out and is going to come back in. Channel member and another contributor of the channel, like Richard Hopkins, like all of y'all are. But those guys, Half Empty was in here. Contribute a lot for giveaways, and I really appreciate it. I really do. You know, Derek, it's kind of funny. That is a AI. That is a program called Sumo, I think. It's free download from iTunes, and it made me a couple little intros. I made one for Shane, a couple of funny ones. You basically feed it in the genre You can get real specific, tell it chord changes, tell it, I know people or know of people who make AI music and they start with a basic song on an acoustic guitar and then layer it up. It's amazing what you can do with AI. Derek, when did you try? I'm about 2 hours north of Birmingham, right around 2 hours. Sometimes between an hour and a half and 2 hours, or an hour and 45 minutes and 2 hours. What's up, brother? Text me before you call me. Let me know that it's you. Because if I don't have you by chance in my phone and you're not coming up as you, or it's one of the weird times during the day where I'm taking a micro nap, because was mainly when I do my sleeping is in little pockets during the day. Just shoot me a text and tell me you're getting ready to call. I'm usually always available. In the evenings, I do stuff. I have to take care of my dad, like from 5 to 7 or so. I'm always kind of jumping around. Oh, dude. Are they playing at Oak Mountain? I'm surprised they're not playing up in Huntsville at Orion. Orion had a fish last year. It was the first show on last year's tour where they brought all 9 light trucks, all 9 18-wheelers with their entire light rig. Orion's turned into a really cool amphitheater. Dave Matthews Band played there. I'm not fanboying out on Dave Matthews, but they attract a big crowd. And they were able to handle it with some despair. But what have you guys been doing? I'm going to show y'all something that came in the mail for me, because Concept is a huge supporter of the channel, and they'll send me out Tenable knives and Concept knives to check out. And when this knife came out, it looked kind of familiar. And this knife is a collaboration with Tempest, with KC, and Concept is called the Thunderhead. And it's about the size of a PM2. It's got a really nice forward choil and a little kind of a swedge, or not a swedge, a good thumb or harpoon maybe behind that. I don't know what you'd call that, but it's gemmed, really tall, flat grind. And one thing that Concept does that some people don't like, but I do, they use S35 VN for their blade steel. The reason they do that is they keep their retail prices under $200. Like this knife, if I'm not mistaken, on Amazon right now is like 177 maybe, but it's titanium, carbon fiber, milled titanium, which you really can't see on my camera. But just a really nice knife. And this is the first Tempest, hey, Ron Crow, or Tempest collaboration that I've ever experienced. And I've carried it for like most of the day to day. There's been another knife I've been carrying that I'm going to be doing a kind of detailed review on, but this is going to be one I'm really excited to check out. They sent another knife that's interesting, and I don't know the name of it. I haven't done an unboxing on it, which I probably won't do an unboxing. I'll probably just do a review. But this is, I would call it a mid-tier Concept. Again, they work with an outside designer. I forget the designer off the top of my hand or head, but I really like this knife. It's titanium and 154 cm, and it comes in under $120. This one's a flipper, but it's got really a wicked, unique blade. I know its inspiration is Japanese rain. The name of the knife, and I forget what it's called, but the name of the knife translates into Japanese light rain somehow. But the button lock is very, very stable. It's sturdy. It's a slim knife. Also going to be larger than a bug out, full-size knife. But I'm looking forward to carrying this. I haven't even started carrying this yet and reviewing it because I like 154 cm. I don't have a problem. For me, I don't have a problem with some non-super steels if I'm not paying the price for a non-super steel. If I can see the graduated savings, which you can see between the Thunderhead and this knife, because to me, they both feel equally premium. And it's just a nice, I like the blade shape. I think it's unique looking. Button lock is silky smooth. The flipper tab, which is usually not my favorite, is very snappy. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it carries, how it cuts. It ought to be interesting. My thoughts, which one, Derek? On this one? This knife, every now and then, I get a ting. You know that ting that sounds like it's a deep hollow grind, and this is not. This is a flat grind. My thoughts on this knife are, I have a feeling, and this is just first impressions. I've only carried it for a day. I think it's going to be a great knife. I like the size of it. I'm a small guy, and it's not too small for me. About 3/4 of an inch longer than a bug out, but it's got a really nice, tall, flat grind. Excellent blade geometry for EDC use, in my opinion. Has a nice back spacer. Carbon fiber on both sides. It's an internal liner lock as opposed to a frame lock, which I'm kind of digging. Space Ghost, what's up, buddy? Howdy and welcome to Insomniac Sit and Spin, where we hang out and talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Hey, Ed, what's going on, brother? But yeah, I sent KC a message on Instagram. I don't know if he'll get it because I know he gets a lot of messages, but just told him this is the first one of his knives that I've spent any considerable amount of time with, i.e., handled for more than being at a blade show table, and very impressed with it. I like the fact that it's got a long blade hole, so I can flick it down here. I can flip it up here by the pivot or anywhere in between. And then I don't know if you can tell, but that top flipper is curved. So it's got this little gentle ramp right here where it doesn't look like much, but your thumb literally falls right in there and there's nothing to hit your finger. So in terms of a top flipper, which is my least favorite opening mechanism, this one's done as well as any that I've ever jacked with. And it's called the Thunderhead. They're on Amazon. I could do that, but if any of y'all have been over at Tri-States, you've watched a couple of hours of Prime shopping. And I don't think these are on sale due to Prime days, but they do have all variations. I will show y'all that real quick. Again, I've not done the review on it, but I've have enough warm and fuzzy about the first impressions and my experience with Concept to think it's a good one. So let me show it. Let's see if I can find it. Concept Thunderhead. I hear my cat causing destruction. Somewhere on the other side of the house, my cat is causing destruction. I hear it. I don't know if she's in my closet with my knife boxes. There's one for $157. They might have them on sale. Let's see. Yeah, they're 20% off during, well, that one is. We've got several different configurations. And you can kind of see KC's input with the blue carbon fiber and the blue anodized. But yeah, I'll drop y'all a link, affiliate link, if y'all want to just browse over there and look at it. I think they have a good value in knives. I really do. I think Concept does a good job. Yes, they send me knives. They support the channel, but so does Kaiser. So do others. And I have to look at them as, you know, what I see value for dollar. And one of the coolest ones, the Ed Harrison one over the weekend that I sent out yesterday, was that Concept Hera, the way that they engineered that frame lock. I've never seen anything like that in my life. They took the full frame and instead of cutting a relief bar in it, like that, instead of cutting a relief bar in it, they cut it all the way out and they mounted it inside of the frame like a liner lock, like a internal liner lock. Done very, very well. What is up, 1931 Leatherworks? Terry, what's happening, brother? Who was it? So let me see. Somebody actually did something kind and gave it to Ed. It was I've got my little diary here. It was, nope, wasn't that one. If it wasn't for this little book, it was Bobo Shenanigans. Bobo Shenanigans won it. And yeah, Derek, all you ever have to do, and you don't have to do it yourself, if you've got somebody that can log in under your account and just put the hashtag, and last week it was hashtag Hira. If you can just have somebody pop in and drop the word, you do not have to be in the live stream to win. I don't do it like that. If you guys stop by, I know it's Saturday, I know it's the middle of the afternoon. If you've got something going on, just drop the word that's up on the screen in the chat, make sure it goes through, and you're good to go. You're entered. You don't have to be here to win. We'll have something pretty cool this Saturday. I haven't picked it out yet. We're due a fixed blade, but I'm short on boxes. And unfortunately, when you get a fixed blade, they come in a big ass box. I've got some bubble wrap, they're in Kydex sheaths, but I don't really have any boxes the right size. I don't know how I ran out of big boxes before I ran out of the knives that they came in. Usually it doesn't work that way. I think a couple of times was when I shipped several knives to a couple of people. Like my buddy Andrew at Lucky Knife Company. I sent his back in the same box that they came in. I'm trying to think. I don't know what happened to him. But usually I'm really good about keeping my boxes, knowing that I'm eventually going to have to ship out a bigger knife. Derek, we have between 17 and 20 people. Their odds in my member streams are very high because of the numbers game. And all we do is draw a random comment and never feel guilty for just coming in and leaving a comment. Good example, Ryan Ellis, brother Ryan, was in a couple of weeks ago, and then he had to go to his nephew's baseball game, watch his nephew hit his first home run. Well, he ended up being the winner that day. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the whole reason for the stream is for me to thank the channel members and to do something to kind of give back, right? That's the whole reason for it. So you do not have to feel guilty popping in, dropping a comment, or have somebody drop in on your behalf under your screen name. And then if you win, you'll have to email me your address anyway, and I'll know it's you. I wish I had more fleshlights. Actually, I never resorted to a fleshlight. I'm waiting for the full-on robot that comes that you can that'll do stuff for you, like nice, like tell you it's going to be a good day, and then just come over and rub your shoulders. What is up, Ron Crow? Yeah, you guys won't be hearing Ghost Party, one of my favorite songs, because I don't have a way to let me see, Richard. We got here. Let me go over here. I have to click it on this side over here. I used to buy them from Uline. 9x6 by 3. Yeah, those aren't bad sizes. But then you jump into a whole bunch of there are other advantages, in my opinion, for shipping. I get a lot of fixed blades in. I've got several over the next few weeks that should come in for me to check out, and I can use those boxes. And I've just bought a big stack of those bubble wrap envelopes, which most of the time on a smaller EDC fixed blade, I can roll it up in bubble wrap, roll up the bubble wrap mailer, and it mails out fine. The ones I have here, I've got a couple that are small enough that I have boxes that they will fit in. I just didn't have them Saturday, and since we were doing the Hira, but I think this knife right here, I can fit into one of the boxes that I currently have. It's just when you get to the larger ones, I'm kind of hosed. This has got retention for days. This is a cool looking little knife right here. I think I might have been being greedy with this one. This one's what hadn't been given away, but I've got way too many knives. This is a kind of I call this like a mini Bowie, kind of a Scandi grind. Again, donated by brother Richard Hopkins. And I've got it very well oiled up. And then I've got one more small one, so I might be able to get by the next couple of weeks while we wait for him to come in. I've got this little guy right here that Richard sent in. that is just a kind of a wicked little rustic shanky blade. And they're all very sharp, surprisingly. I say surprisingly. That's a curse, dude, but it is a superpower. I've got every single one. That crash, every box that has ever come to me, I've got it. Now, every knife that I've sent out in a giveaway, I've not been able to pair the boxes because I've got 2 closets and the tops are full, or the tops were full of boxes. The crashes I heard a little while ago was Tippy getting rid of probably about 40 to make room to lay down up there. So I'm sure I've got a floor full of them. But I keep all my bubble wrap because I reuse it. I keep my boxes. If I get like a big box from Amazon for something else, I usually cut it open for Tippy to mess with, and then I'll cut that cardboard down because I like to cut cardboard and use it for demos. When I'm doing knife overviews, I like to cut paper and ideally cardboard on film, or on tape or digital, whatever you want to call it. I like to do that, but I haven't cut up. I've got a big box in the back of my car right now that I need to cut into strips that are big enough for me to hold and not cut my hand off, and, you know, functional to show how it cuts through. Because a lot of knives, depending on the sharpness and the grinding, kind of Kyle Coonley would rightfully tell me I was wrong, because I probably am. But I find that some knives that aren't paper slicers per se cut through thicker material much better. And they cut differently, right? Because every knife, for example, I don't have it on me, but my ProTech Major Powell, what is up, buddy? Channel member. 0 fixed blades except the old Gerber camp knife from Lily 15 years ago. Major Powell, what do you carry normally on your daily? What's your knife usage? I'll tell you mine. I'm an urban city guy who opens cat food, cuts paracord from time to time, and opens Amazon boxes. I don't cut anything serious. But the size fixie is where I used to never think I would buy a fixie, and I've told this story in ad nauseum, so I'll keep it short. But I never thought I would ever have any interest in a fixed blade knife. Never looked at them for 2 years in collecting. Wasn't even on my radar until the little chickadee came around, which is a small little basic bitch fixed blade knife made in different blade steels by a really talented young maker. And I fell in love with it. And from that, to even lead up to that knife, because it was more expensive, I had to buy some other small fixed blades that were much less expensive, like the Tucson TS150, like a Bradford G cleaver, which was right around 99 bucks on Amazon. It was skeletonized, and I'm not super happy with it. It's one I'll probably, let me find it. Bradford G cleaver. But little fixed blades, unless you're looking for a camp knife, that's a little bit different. But if you're looking for an EDC fixed blade, now is the best time to be interested in that, because everybody has great solutions. Every knife company that I know of, imports and domestic, are making small fixed blade knives now. G cleaver. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, for everything from a Kaiser, drop bear, this is a knife I bought early on. I don't necessarily recommend this knife. It's a good knife. It's the handle was a little weird for me, but what I like about this knife is it's L-Max, it's skeletonized, it's USA made in it, and it's just a good cutter. However, this handle does feel a little wonky to me. And I don't like skeletonized stuff as much as with the handle, but this is a very functional little knife. I like the swirl in the blade up here. They also make a G necker, which is the drop point. But there's so many good, like the, they don't have the G necker, and the Bradford Guardian 3 is a small but full handled knife. I'd get the micarta, not the G10. Mine came with the G10. I traded with Shane, and I swapped it out for the contoured micarta because that G10 is so sharp. But there's so many great EDC fixed blades out there that you can get in any price point imaginable. Kaiser Drop Bear is a great one. Whoops. And you can get it in three different blade styles and like three different blade steels. Like this one, this clip point is an AEBL. This is a small little knife. This guy, I want to say, is 6 inches. Under $60 AEBL. And then they've got a drop point for under $40 in D2. Or spear point, I guess that's be more of. And then the one I like that I've not experienced is the sheep's foot, which is AEBL, $54. Looks like a hollow grind, but I can't tell. It may just be the picture doing that for me. But I've got the D2 spear point currently, and I had this one right here as well, and they're great knives for, what I consider to be a budget. But there's so many good USA made knives made by small makers that are really affordable, and you're getting so much more knife depending on what you're looking for. There are a lot of choices out there. Autumn Wind, what's up, buddy? Who else have I missed? Drew, what's going on, brother? Howdy. Welcome to Insomniac Sit and Spin. Y'all see that new Woods Monkey Batwing? Let me look at that. Because again, I'm here to kind of go not too squirrely, but I do want to go after whatever y'all are interested in, because I learn shit when I do that. Woods Monkey Batwing. Coming soon. Yeah, that's a little guy. I mean, these are great box openers, CCW knives, last resort knives, but that's a little guy. I like the loop in the finger. I would think you would put your second finger through there and your first finger right here. Magna cut steel, $1.25. Very cool. I was not aware of them. Let's see what else they do. Are these all their knives? I'm assuming they are. I've always liked this little style knife. I've never picked one up, and the one I used to see was the Tops. Tops makes one like this. Forget what it's called. I don't think theirs is called a Carver. That's kind of cool. That kind of reminds me of a little bird and trout. $155 in AEBL. I'm not mad at all at that. Let's look at where. All right. How long is that? Hellbender, 6.6 inches, S90V. Is that what I saw? Yep. Now, I really, really like that. I think out of all the ones I've looked at, this so far is my favorite. 6.6 inches. How much is it? $289 and S90V. Where are these made? I'm assuming they're USA made. See, that's why I like doing these live streams, because you guys show me some really cool stuff. Very cool stuff. We'll have to find them on Instagram here in a little while when we jump into Instagram world. Because a lot of times that's where you see the latest, greatest stuff. What's up, Drew? DCA from Nice Center. Show you something cool from Brother David. It's going to take me just a second. So this is a little knife. I went over because I've been a fan of Straight Line EDC, an Italian knife company, for a little over a year. When they first came out with their first two knives, which are the Alley and the Ernie, I had White Mountain Knives send both to me to review, and I bought one of them. I just wasn't sure which one I was going to get. The Alley's a Warncliffe. The one I bought was the Ernie that's a reverse Tonto. Well, I went to introduce myself to Igor. He had a small table, and he'd come out with another series of knives. And this one right here, a couple of things I noticed about it, and he was telling me about it. Instead of using M390, they're using 1428, and they're right around $100 even instead of right around $200. This one is a David C. Anderson collaboration called the Digger. They're currently, let me show you guys these. I don't have an affiliate link, but I do have a code at White Mountain Knives where you can use Javon 10 if you're interested and save yourself 10%. But I think I saw a bunch in stock there. Let me see. And I was very impressed with the knife. I've picked one up at Blade Show, and I love the leather sheath that it comes with. It comes with the leather sheath with magnets. So here's the one I had. I did cut the lanyard off. I found it a little long and odd, but 14C28N comes with a leather sheath that has a magnet on the other side that locks it in your pocket. So I drop it inside my pocket and flip the magnet over the front side of my pocket. 6 inches, 6.18 inches. David C. Anderson, who we were just talking about, and Igor Bortolucci, who is the owner and used to be a designer at MKM, Montiago Knife Makers in Italy, and started Straight Line not too long ago. But White Mountain Knives does have these little guys in stock. First place I saw them show up. They've got 4 variations. Well, they got 3 variations in stock. So if you're interested, check those out. I think it's a cool little knife. LT Wright Geek Machinist is probably one of the best values I picked up a while back. They happen to have a run come through. Is it River's Edge Cutlery or DLT that carries them? I think it's River's Edge Cutlery. But they had a run of little Frontier First, which are their smallest knives, come through in MagnaCut with a leather sheath, and they were $95. So for, I think, 115 shipped or 110 shipped, that little knife came in, and I love it. The only thing I don't like about it is is it DLT? I'm forced to carry it on my belt, which is not a bad thing. It is DLT. Thank you for straightening me up. Geek Machinist is exactly right. And the one I picked up, and they had recently some Frontiers in A2, which is just a little bit bigger. The Frontier First is the one I picked up. They've gone up just a little bit, but not much. I mean, a small little handmade knife for 115. And if you look at their bigger knives, they're also very affordable. $95 for a trapper. I was a fan. I only own that one. The Frontier Valley is the one that they had in stock. I don't know if they have them anymore, which is a little bit bigger. It's 109, and I want to say it's closer to 7 inches. Yeah, 6.66 inches. That's a odd number there. I'd call it 6.57. But LT Wright is also the OEM of Ben's Jack Wolf USA made. I forget which pattern they're doing, but LT Wright is doing a USA made Jack Wolf EDC fixed blade. Here's one a little more expensive, $220 for the Saber with false clip point. Looks more tactical. They come with really nice sheaths, but they don't give you, this one gives you a pin. At least you could put something in it. Mine didn't come with pins. But for right around $100 for a USA made small fixie, they are out of stock quite a bit, but they do run through. What I do, where I find them and where I found mine was when I go to DLT, I like looking at their new stuff, but I also love looking at their restocks. So I'll always go to their restocks because that's where you'll see stuff that should be on their new page. This is a great clip, by the way. I have one of these mounted horizontally, but I could also mount it vertically in my pocket. They won the best accessory at Blade Show this past year. It's a little wire clip. Very cool, very cool. But usually this stuff, well, they've got some Griffin Scouts. I've got one of these 2.5s and a Scout Medic. They're made by Best Tech S35VN. I just reviewed this. It hadn't hit the website yet. The one I did was Aurora. It was a special color where the blade was purple too. I really like this knife. I didn't realize it was a diver knife. It's got one of the hardest kicks of any automatic I've used, and it's because it was designed for the LUDT, stands for Large Underwater Demolition Team, and they wanted a one-handed knife that would open underwater, and hence came the first LUT, and it has been making its way since then. Not that much, $300 for a USA made knife. It's very wicked. Definitely if you come a sneaking, I will leave you leaking type of knife. But look, here's a different, interesting little fixed blade I've never seen before on their restocks. A little Case Chris Taylor Hunter. I wonder what that's made out of. Nitro V. I'm not mad at that. I don't love the sheath, but it's a cool looking little knife. But that's where I like to look. I like to go to DLT, River's Edge Cutlery. I'll look at White Mountain Knives because I love seeing what interesting Tucson fixed blades came in. But then you can also go look at their new stuff. And that's where on DLT, you always see what's kind of coming. I feel like and I don't know if y'all have been following this one, a little squirrel on you. The new stuff that has just dropped for the 15 days of blade sale. These little customs that hit today. Not my price point. I'm not into them, but for $320, they're little just double detent custom knives. Interesting. And again, these were knives that were picked up by DLT, or the deals were made at Blade Show. Like, I've never seen this knife. I'm not familiar with this maker. But it's very slicey looking. He's got several different styles of knives, even though they have the one being featured. But every day they release what's going to be there tomorrow. So American Blade Works, they're probably sold out. There's one button lock left, which is a great knife. Titanium, Magna Cut, button lock with thumb studs from American Blade Works. I spent a lot of time with Michael at Blade Show and handle that knife quite a bit. And then they'll have, at midnight, they'll release what's going to be around tomorrow, and people will scamper for it if it's something unique. And it probably will be. And they'll do that for a few more days. So I found it interesting to check out that, and then I always go to what's new. And they don't tease any of the stuff that's coming. But see, that looks really cool to me. The Leatherman track. Are these Leatherman like Leatherman? I'm assuming they are. Engineered, made in the USA, Magna Cut. check it out, guys. Sheath leather. Are they Leatherman? Leatherman track. That's a good looking little knife. I like this one better. Little sheep's foot, Magna Cut. How long is it? 8.3 inches. It's a little long for me, but it looks like Leatherman's making some real deal. And they may have y'all might be screaming at me in the chat. I can't read it. That they've been making killer knives all along. What's this one made out of? Magna Cut. That's a bigger knife. That's 10 inches. And I did see their folders. I did see that they're $299. I guess it's USA made. So they're getting into the premium 100 and quarter less than a Hinderer market in what looks like a button lock with Magna Cut blade. What is that? Titanium or aluminum? Button lock. Not happy about that, but it might have good detent. What's it say? Modified sheep's foot. Why am I missing the handle material? Deep carry pocket clip. Well, it's either aluminum or titanium. It looks very nice. I mean, I'll give it that. The clip looks like a Leatherman clip for a $300 knife. And the red stud, eh. But I'm glad to see him get in the game. I wish him the best. And they've got it in a drop point. Looks like it's kind of contoured with a little bit of radiusing or chamfering. I love to see USA made companies bring out cool knives. So yeah, I love checking out what's going on at DLT and River's Edge Cutlery. You'll see when I start typing in River's Edge Cutlery, it goes right there. Whoop. And I always go to their new arrivals. That's how I browse this. And I look at them real quick. We got a, I'm not crazy about that knife. It looks pretty cool. Auxiliary manufacturing, $99 and 14C. Kind of a little small pokey stabber, 6.25 inches. Not much of a cutter. I guess it is a cutter. Got a little recurve. I hope I'm not boring y'all looking at knives. We're not going to look at a bunch. They've got some of those LUDTs in stock. Big old open L. Some Hellbenders. What else we got? Hinderer has released some Hinderer modular backspacer so that you can add, if you want to add a backspacer to your XM18, you pick the color of your knife and you can do that. I'm not spending $85 on a backspacer right now. I'm happy with my standoffs, but it would be cool. If I was working, throwing away money like I was, I would definitely probably grab one. LT Wrights. Let's see what else we got. I'll tell you guys, I've been very impressed with my Zero blade play. I've been using it so much, hoping that it'll develop blade play because they're supposed to develop blade play, and then you have to go in and adjust them. And I want to do a video taking it apart, but I don't want to take it apart if it's not broken. Let's see. All right, that's about it. We got new Finches. For a while, they had some Finch button locks, which I was surprised to see. I've still got a pretty good Finch collection. And does anybody know about Core Edge? Does anybody know about Core Edge? Let me share it again. They're a USA made out the front company that do not seem to have the big price advantage, but they make out the front knives, aluminum and Magna Cut. They don't seem to have any. They're echoed core, solid dovetail construction. Yeah, I don't know what gives them Explore Core Edge, but I've never heard of them before. And they're all over the place now. I've seen them here and somewhere else. And that's a really clean looking out the front. But and it's got some milling on maybe it is nicer than a axial in terms of the milling and the quality of the fit and finish. Because I still think axials at 230 are really, in the live wire by Kershaw, are great values. But these look like they've got some intense milling. But anywho, that's those are the sites I look at. And then I'll go to White Mountain. I'm not going to do that to you guys tonight, but I usually go there and I see what's come in their fixed blades, because they do get a lot of small fixed blades. That's sick. That's the Cambria. I reviewed their my local knife store let me review the limited edition or the gold class. But this one here is just a regular upgraded with the custom compound grind and a little copper carbon fiber. $500, which is a lot, but that's a beautiful grind. And it was a very slick knife. I'd heard that it was their first knife that they did a button lock in. It used to be, because Shane had one, real sluggish, not really good. And this one's very good. They did a great job on it. And they've got regular price ones too. But yeah, the little David C. Anderson, which got me off on that big tangent, the little digger, is a cool knife. I like the shape of it. It's got jimping here, and it's small. And 14C, I've never gotten mad at that. So I put it in my pocket, just drop it in my pocket, and then flip that magnet over and it locks it in. It's not one that you can just grab the knife and pull it out. You've got to kind of strategically pull it out. It doesn't have that kind of retention. But I've never needed it, that kind of retention. If I'm pulling something that hard, I'm pulling my Freedom Peel dispenser, if you know what I mean. YouTube terms of service. Sweet. Benchmade bailout. Which one is it, Bama? If you like it, reach out to me and I'll give you the number of Tate, my buddy at Knives and More. They got every bailout under the sun, and they're a premium plus dealer. And I think they'll match any price. I know you're not close to them, but they'd mail it to you. Or I'd meet you over there. You need to go to Knives and More, Bama, just because you would love it so much. I mean, it's so much cooler in knives than St. Nick's, even, because they carry every Protect that you could want. My buddy bought the Chavez Protect today. They carry every Spyderco, almost every Benchmade, like 3 of them. Then they got a lot of customs, and they trade for some really cool knives, very cool knives. Now they've got 2 battle truck pickup Hinders down there. They've got a couple of CKFs. They've got a really nice Kunwu. They've got, I'm trying to think what else. Some Medfords. They've got all kinds of knives. They've got one of mine. They've got my Medford Slim Mitty, or not Slim Mitty, my Mitty Marauder down there. I traded that for that. And I carry this knife all the time. What's up, Neil McKenzie? Channel member? This little Ultratech Gen 3, 0 blade play. With regardless, hopefully that gets worked out, settled out. They get it all fixed up. I didn't know about it when I bought this, but it is a great slicey little out the front. I mean, Microtechs, every one I've got, which is only this one and my Stitch, have been very slicey. I did not cut with the Aurora, the one I'm going to be reviewing. It'll be my review tomorrow, or my overview. But it's super slicey. I really like it. It is very sweet. And Drinkwater, you can adjust it, which is cool. I've watched several videos breaking it down, and I'm looking forward to mine. I'm not going to pour sawdust or drywall dust in like the people that have done the videos. But once it gets janky, I will take it apart. But they set it up where you can blow it out. It's got holes in the back, ports to blow it out or run water through it. It seems like they thought of everything. We will see. And you can't lose with Hinderer. And if any of y'all have been looking for Hinderers, they're in stock now. They don't run out of stock. I've seen several I think there are Eclipses in stock a couple of places. I know there are Jurassics, a couple of hollow ground Jurassics. Don't know if there are any XM18s. There's just a lot of knives out there if people are able to buy them. I mean, there seems to be a good many and some nice ones. And this knife that KC designed is, again, I've never hung out with any of his designs, but this concept is really good. And I know it's because KC designed it this way. Then hollow ground. So what did everybody carry today? I carried my because I'm getting ready to review it, my Neutron, which is again my favorite USA manufacturer. And for the slicey USA made knives, if you're looking for something small and built like it's a little NASA tool, and it's super thin and sharp, TRM's the way to go. So I've been carrying it, and I've got in my back pocket, which I've been carrying constantly, is my Lucky Dog Bulldog. Little ram's head blade, 14C. It's great for opening packages, great for opening food. And I don't stab myself with it when I'm putting it back in my sheath in my back pocket, which is a good thing because it's not all that sharp. It is all that sharp, but Medford 187 in the bug out today, says Paul Mills. That is awesome, buddy. Why can't I get this to lock back in? It's because I got my jeans caught in it. Geek Machinist had his Boca Piranha, his Gerber Chonk, his Coast PX22, his Zebra 701, and Carbon Fiber Ridge wallet. Nice. I've got my shirt caught in my sheath now. I jacked it up. That was a user error. It goes in the sheath much easier than that. I just tucked in my stuff. Yeah, I haven't been carrying a slip joint daily lately. I've come to the terms that my fixed blade takes the place of my slip joint, and my slip joint was just jacking up my my pockets. Drink Water wins with the Cortex XL and the McBee. Cortex XL, out of every knife I've ever reviewed, and I've reviewed some nice ones, I've not reviewed a lot of customs, but the XL Cortex was the finest that I have experienced. Congratulations to you, Drink Water, and congratulations to my friend A to Z EDC, who has one. He let me review it. It's a banger. Now the FSD is a close second. That is a great knife. Brother Paul Mills let me check that out, and it is an absolute stunner. But something about the detent on that Cortex and the smoothness of disengaging that lock bar. SOCOM Elite, that's an awesome one. Paper Tiger, that's the manual, right? I love that knife. But Bama, of all the jam bands, I started liking Fish when I was late, but I've never seen Fish. Now, I've seen Widespread Panic over 120-something times. Saw the Dead, Grateful Dead 63 times all over the country. Saw Mo. Just for some reason at the time, I wasn't into Fish. I think I'd like them now because I like their music. Richard's carrying the Pony Stout, which is a winner, and the Lucky Knife Bulldog. I can't get that Bulldog out of my pocket, Richard. I use it so much. It didn't come super, super sharp because David doesn't get them laser sharp like Kyle does. I'm thinking about turning mine into a little 20-degree laser. Yeah, but I didn't do a lot of, I wasn't out of the house too much today. Yesterday, I went up to Knives and More because they let me review on Saturday nights when they close. They'll have a couple of knives that they want me to, let me showcase, and I get to make content. And I got to review a Benchmade water series called the Adira, and it was there. It's not a gold class, but it was a limited edition. It's $800 Damasteel and GL Sons, or for I always mess their name up, Micarta and G10 composite, G-carded cool handle. Super neat knife. And then I reviewed that LUDT from Microtech that was the Aurora that's Cerakoted all the way across in kind of blue and purple, and then a little custom fixed blade by a guy by the name of Jay Wilson. I believe that's his name. I have to go look at the video. Oh no, Derek, you hurt yourself? There's nothing wrong with that, buddy. If you got a rotator cuff issue, now I couldn't drink because I had to swear it off because I was an idiot when I drank. That was a me problem, but I would definitely do something to take the pain off. That's some painful stuff because you can't lay down and get comfortable. I empathize with you. But yeah, Bam, I need to get you over here to check out Knives and More. I think you'd really like it. They're really good to trade with too. If you've got Cherry Benchmades that you're not using, they'll give you really good trade values on your Benchmades. If you haven't sharpened them or done anything crazy with them. I traded my Benchmade Freak for this TRM Integrity that I wanted, and I didn't carry the Freak. I've got a couple of what are they called? Doug Ritter RSKs that to me were kind of similar enough to the Freak, even though the Freak was cool. I just never carried it. But I really wanted this little knife because I'm a button lock kind of collector from ProTech. This is the only one I didn't have. Well, I don't have the Cambria, but I really like this. It would be super cool with the hologrind, but it's good enough to cut open cat food as is. And it's designed to be a pokey stabby, kind of sneaking. I'm going to leave you leaking. That's just right over $200 retail, I think. An S35. It's the first button lock with thumb studs, which makes it in really big, jimpy thumb studs that are comfortable. And then this is an absolute winner. This is the TKL Warren EDC, which is the collaboration with Melissa Backwoods. I've got the 3-inch aluminum handles, which are an option, or you can get the little ring. I had the ring on it for a while, or you can get the short Piranha handles for it. But this gives you, I saw them about between 120 and 150 times, Derek. They stayed when Mikey Hauser was still alive, and they used to play at Auburn in 1986 and 7 when I lived out in Lochapoka. They stayed with me. I knew people, had friends that joined Brown Cat Records, which was their label back when they were smaller. But this little TKL Warren EDC is an absolute winner. I've got a lot of CDs too, Derek. I've got a lot of Panic music, soundboard music. Yes, it is, Paul. It's the ProTech Integrity Manual. It's their latest manual. Just aluminum, really basic knife, but it's got great studs. It's got an aggressive blade. It's got those kind of fish scale pattern, which just gives you it's not aggressive, but it's grippy. Feels good. I've always been a Trey fan, and for me, it was all about timing. I mean, I had so much time because it was towards the end of my college years and my post-college years, between traveling to see Panic and traveling to see the Dead, not being drawn to the Fish crowd. A lot of my friends went, and I listened to it, like I said, a lot of their music. It wasn't as much the scene as it was the time of getting involved in another scene. Plus, I would have gotten arrested. I was walking on thin ice. Absolutely. Timing is everything. And the funny thing is, Garrett, I'll be honest with you, I was not a Grateful Dead fan. All my buddies listened to them. I didn't get it. I had a chance to go to Buckeye Lake Amphitheater up outside of Ohio, in Buckeye Lake, Ohio, June of 1987. I went with a buddy and his girlfriend, had no idea what I was in for. By the time I traversed the parking lot to get to the field that we were walking down into, I'd accumulated everything I could have possibly dreamt of, and it was an awesome experience. And I just fell into the concert, and after that, it was game on. I loved it. I love the scene. I love the music. I love the improvisational part of it, and I like the people. Bama carried his Kaiser. Nice guy button. Kaiser Gemini full size and a Cold Steel double agent 2 neck knife. Nice, Bama Ninja. Derek, I was 20, I'm trying to think. I was working at Wilson Automotive Group. I remember my buddy called me and told me when it happened. It would have been 95. I got married in 96. I was 32, I think. And I'd seen them in Nashville, or excuse me, in Memphis and in Birmingham, the summer tour of 95, which was like 5 concerts before his last Chicago show. And he seemed healthy. Because I'd seen Jerry when he was brutal. From 87 to 95, Derek, was when I was checking out concerts, tours, when I was on tour doing my thing. I was not a tour head, but I would go, like when I went to San Francisco, I went for Halloween for all 5 shows. I made a trip out of it. Or if I went to Atlanta, I also went to Charlotte because it was driving distance and it was the next 2 nights. So I try to catch 5 at a time, unless it was a random concert like Colorado. Dude, we'll have to hook up on it. Or St. Petersburg, Florida. It was like 1 show. Buckeye Lake was always 1 show, or no, Buckeye was 1, but like Alpine Valley was a couple of shows. Chicago was 3. But we didn't go to adjacent cities where a lot of the people on tour would. They'd go from city to city to city, selling grilled cheese for tickets and just living the hippie life. It was wild, dude. It was definitely something I would not change. I would not go back and not have that experience because I did meet some of the kindest people. I saw a lot of crazy stuff too, especially towards the end, towards the 92, 93, 94. It started getting kind of crazy. The scene got, more people came for the scene. People didn't have tickets. It was a lot of bad press because there was gate crashing. There was a lot of unsafe elements found their ways into the crowds. Buckeye Lake was awesome. When I saw them the first time, Bruce Hornsby opened up for them and played accordion on stage with them, which I thought was weird because my dad was a Bruce Hornsby fan and he'd begged me not to go, I guess because of the culture or whatever, when I was getting ready to go. And ironically, when Brent Medlin passed away, Bruce Hornsby joined him. Alpine was a great venue. Saw him at the Charlotte Coliseum, St. Petersburg Coliseum. I'm trying to think where it was outdoors. Louisville, Kentucky, or Louisville, right there on the line where the ball field is. Saw him in that ball field 1 July, which was awesome. Chicago was terrible because when we saw him, it was out at World Music Theater, which was a terrible venue to try to get to. And it was just bad. The acoustics were bad. Saw him at Wrigley Field 1 year, which was really good. Saw him, all over the place. It is, Jarek. And most of the people that I know, people that you wouldn't even expect, and I would let them tell that story, but there's a lot of addiction. I'm a recovering addict. I don't currently use. However, there was a time when I really did. And I went through some dark periods, and I was sober when I found the community, but I found a lot of people that made me feel better about not just my sobriety, but feeling like I was, joining a community of people. That's why I stuck around Knives as long as I have. Usually with my ADHD, I jump from a hobby for a couple of years, really hot and heavy. Then I'll kind of push it to the side and do the next thing. Knives haven't been like that. Knives have been something I've kind of really dived into because I just dig the people. And then Blade Show's so much fun. Knock on wood, if I'm able, I will always try to go to Blade Show. I urge any of you guys or gals, if you get a chance or you can make a chance, even if it's Blade Show West or Texas. I've not been to either of those, but I can imagine they're pretty nice. Yeah, the keyboard position. Well, and also, if you read any of the history of the Grateful Dead, a lot of them, or a few of them, not many of them, stayed away from a lot of the dangerous stuff, but you could get whatever you wanted there. And they had that free will and lifestyle, so I could see how it could go south quickly. I always said when I was playing in bands with my buddy, rest in peace, Ab, the guy who passed away a couple of months ago, if we'd have made it big back when we were playing, neither one of us would have survived it. We couldn't have survived it. That was great times, buddy. And you could get, yeah, it was everything. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is in the 80s, at least until the early 90s, everything on tour was sourced from one chemist. About 95% of it was like that for most of the Grateful Dead's touring life. Yeah, Richard, it's I've got a lot of those anxieties, and I know for a lot of people it's unbearable, and I get that. Ryan Ellis, what's up? Because there are a lot of people there. Somehow I can turn it off. And the first day I was there, I tried to film, which took my mind off it, even though that was chaotic. There are a lot of people. There's a lot to see. It can be overwhelming. And I'll tell you, I noticed it, and I've talked to some friends who I think have noticed it. You not only wear your body, your mind, and your vocal cords out talking for 3 days, you've got all this dopamine buildup leading up to the Blade show and during Blade show. And then when you come back for like a week, for me, it was like I'd been beaten around. I mean, I had very, very little motivation, felt tired, felt sore. And I think a lot of it was just a dopamine dump. But Blade show is, even if you just go and sit in the lobby, you can see a lot of really nice people, see what they bought, go check out a table here, a table there. Because that's what I did. I took a list and I left some off, but I made a list of 17 companies I wanted to visit. And I did about 95% of that. A couple of the imported companies I didn't see. Like I never got to physically go by and see Vosteed, even though I bumped into a couple of them one Saturday night. Derek, what got Jerry, if you think about it, Jerry got sober in a not great place. So I think his could have been prevented. Not putting blame on anybody, but you don't leave somebody going through chemical rapid detox unattended. Now he had the luxury of doing that. So at the end of tours, he would routinely check into a place and get rapidly detox, get clean. Did he need to at that age? I don't know. I mean, would he still be alive? I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people take that road, but I think that road in music, you don't have to take it, but I think it's offered to a lot of people. Excess, I think it's just I think it's part of the touring lifestyle. Timothy Leary, but Bear Owsley was the Dead sound engineer who designed the Wall of Sound and did all the Grateful Dead sound. He was also the main LSD chemist in the United States. Finally arrested by the CIA, I think. Timothy Leary was the tune in, turn on, drop out guy. He was the professor or psychologist who was a big advocate of its therapeutic use and its recreational use, for that matter. Because there was a lot of nuttiness that went with it. But I can understand it, especially back in those days where it was basically provided. And again, this is tin hat stuff, but the government wasn't turning the other cheek. They were learning from it. So I don't think it became illegal till late 50s, early 60s. I don't know that date, but I know for a while it was readily used by the beatniks and people like the Merry Pranksters and Timothy Leary's group. And the Grateful Dead just happened to be the house band, and they tapped into that power or whatever. But the music that they make, if you look from a musical student's analysis of Grateful Dead music, it's Americana music. It's basic music. Dude, that was awesome, buddy. Meeting Derek and me, just so many people. It was just awesome. Hanging out, chatting, because the knives are just part of it. I walked around, like I said, I looked at those when we first got there Friday, I kind of took the first half of the day to try to do what I needed to do, where I could just kind of hang back with everybody. And Saturday was epic watching Ryan go through and just check one after another off the list. Yeah, that's the whole thing about it. The memories of Blade Show, even though there's always stressful times at Blade Show, but they are always outweighed by just the awesomeness of it all. I mean, you're always running. At least every time I've gone, I've always felt like I was on a deadline, even though I wasn't. It was self-imposed. You're trying to maximize your time there, I guess, is the best way to look at that. But it was great. And again, I came back with all fixed blades. I didn't come back with any folders. Had a lot of companies that were really nice that reached out, like TKL, Straight Line, EDC, Carry Development. I sent that knife to Andrew Kidd, who does Lucky Dog Knife Company, to check out that Grip Tech handle material, which Very Good Knife Company bought a bunch of it. It's a really nice grip material. If y'all get a chance to try or hold a knife, it's not G10, but it's Grip Tech. It is, I think it'll be the next handle material. It is really good stuff. It's kind of got a, not soft's the wrong word, but it feels softer than G10 and it feels stickier, even though it's not like leaving sticky residue. It's just a nice game. I'm a big fan of it. And then I picked up several TKLs, several wicked TKLs. One, this is the most dangerous knife in my collection, and I almost laid my thumb open at Blade Show, but if you look at it, the blade is on top because it's designed to be used as a pakal. You're supposed to hold that sharp edge towards your forearm. It's just an absolute tactical. You could easily sharpen this, probably about 30 per side. But that's a one-purpose knife, unless I guess you're opening refrigerator boxes going down to up. There's nothing you can do with this knife short of give it a Slurpee saver posture. But yeah, I was talking to, they were packing them up, and I was talking to one of the young girls that was helping, and I put my finger up there. She was like, no. And then I bought the TRM because I really wanted to get this knife before anybody else did, because I think it's super cool. The next batch they're doing, this is in PSB something or another. It's a D2 powder metallurgy type of D2, but better. It's not type of D2. It's just similar in properties. But the next batch they're doing a Magna Cut. And these are under $200. Super nice. USA made. Contoured micarta EDC fixed blades with either a taco or a pancake sheath. Comes with an ulti clip. And the other one I picked up that I bought was the Tenable Par, which is a small EDC fixed blade. It's $48. The concept version is $99 in S35, but the Tenable is in 14C. Really nice knife. Really nice. About 9 inches, a 9-inch kukri. Kalisha. Let's look at that. There's so much. We need to get you over there, Bama, because you would see everything you could imagine at Blade Show. Stuff that you don't even think you need, but you leave there thinking about it, and the next thing you know, you're collecting said thing. They got some nice ones. Yeah, I'll drop the link in the chat because they do have some cool knives that I've never seen before. Here you go, Bama Ninja. Check these guys out. Those are the modern ones, but that'll take you back to the homepage. What is up? Jason Grant is in the house. The Brass Brigade. What is happening, buddy? Good to see you, man. Luke, what is up? Good to see you, bud. We're just kicking it here on a Tuesday night, Jason, doing our sit and spin late night, see what the chat's talking about, see if we can Nepal made. They look like they're made very well. And you're going to be beating on those type of knives anyway. The kukri I picked up was I think it's a K-bar that I got at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It was like $49 on sale Black Friday. I think I picked it up for like 42. And I've used it on campsites several times and chopped up a bunch of stuff with it. And it's my buddy who got one A to Z EDC at the same time. He tore his blade a little bit when we were chopping up these plastic chairs. But mine, I didn't have any blade deformation. I'm glad you did, buddy. Reach out to me and we'll get you on one Friday night when you're not too busy. I know you need to focus on what you need to focus, but if you guys know or didn't know, Jason Grant, the Brass Brigade, has now started his YouTube channel back. I'm going to share it for you real quick because I used to watch his videos long before I thought about making knife videos. Where is it? I got to type the in there. But I'm going to throw it in here and you'll see some of the cool project stuff that he's working on as he works on it. But he also reviews some cool knives. Let's go to it. Where is it? Where is it? Jason, drop your link in there. For some reason, I don't want to drop the wrong. Here we go. Never mind. Let me type this in. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. Am I spelling it wrong? Everybody, I'm seeing all the gripper videos. I'm seeing your J-Cals. Are you shadow banned? Drop your link in there, buddy. Somebody drop, if you can find Brass Brigade's YouTube channel. That's what I'm looking for. Here it is. I found it. I found it. But y'all go sub to Jason. I know y'all follow him on Instagram. That is his YouTube channel. And I'll share it with you so you guys can see what we're talking about right there. Cool content. Look at that. Very cool stuff. Whoops. And he's got some long form content on here too. And he's only 150 roughly from 1,000. One of my favorites was when he did the lock test. I don't know if it's on this channel. It might have been on Instagram. But yeah, y'all go subscribe. Jason Grant at the Brass Brigade. I have the Lookout and absolutely love it. I love the way that the clip's designed on it. I love Big Idea Design Company, Brantley. They're in Chattanooga, about 45 miles north of me. And the Lookout that I picked up was made by Best Tech. It was OEM'd over there, but they started making them. Mine's an S35. They started making them in MagnaCut, USA made. I also have a Big Idea titanium pocket knife too, which is just basic, but it's a fantastic knife. This one. Again, they do a lot of EDC design gear. This is Very well made titanium flippers, multi-deployment. And then I think the Lookout's a great size. This little knife is going to be smaller than like my Boker. I think it comes in at right at 6 inches. So it's a little 6-inch. This one's got titanium handles. I'd be just as happy with my Carta. Keeps the weight down. Got a little jimping on the spine. Took a really good edge. And then it ships, mine did, with 2 Kydex sheath, a right hand and a left hand. And then if you know anything about Big Idea Design, they do a lot of titanium work. So they designed this titanium pocket clip that mounts on the front of either one of the sheaths. So what that results in is a knife that carries really deeply for an EDC fixed blade. You too, Brass Brigade. Jason, have a good night, buddy. Hit me up if you want to hang out one Friday night. You're welcome anytime, my man. But yeah, this is I think it's a solid little knife. And it's small. It's smaller than most. It's a good size, 6 inches. For me, I like that size. Another great small one, this little scalpel. These are made by a guy, Tyler Denny, T. Denny. This is called The Apprentice. I've got 2 of them. This one's in crew wear. I bought it 2 years ago. This is a Gen 2. It's got screw-on scales, and the plunge grind comes up a lot higher. The Gen 1, the plunge grind stops about right here, and it's got pinned handles. But my Gen 1 is Magna Cut, acid etched, with a vintage caramel micarta handle that just looks awesome. But we'll go to his Instagram, because if y'all are on Instagram, he's been doing drops lately. And these are USA made little, I think they're just super functional if you like a small fixed blade knife. It's not a prior. It's not a bushcraft knife by any means, but they are very, very cool. Show them to you. That's one with a little shred carbon fiber. There's Tyler. But these little guys are so clean. You got that harpoon, super thin. I don't know what the blade steel is on these, but he does them all. Like I said, I've got one that's crew wear and one that's Magna Cut, but he just focuses on this little design. So if you get a chance, give him a follow. I will definitely drop his link in the chat, because I'm a big fan. They're little, they're kind of like a good EDC scalpel, but it's a thick enough blade and a tall enough blade that you can do some, you can break down cardboard with that. You don't have that really handle for it. Whoops. The handle's a little thin, but they're just done very, very well. You can see these are all Gen 2s because they've got the screwed on scales. But he does all this stuff in house. He makes these too. Patriarchs, which are a little bigger knife. Still made with the same swagger and care. Let's see if he had any Gen 1s on here. Flow Party. Look at that little fixie. I've never seen that one. Or I don't think it's a Slippy. Maybe it is a slippy. Yeah, it is a slippy. Got a nail nick. I didn't know he made those. I've known him from The Apprentices, so he'll get a lot of these worked up in different blade steels. And I urge you guys to experience one of his knives. He makes really good stuff. I had no idea he did slip joints. But there's so much talent in our little world. People that make some of the nicest stuff. Mud Dog Forge is a guy I met at the local knife sale here, but he's actually in Tennessee. Well, I think he's south of me. I think he is in Alabama. But I picked up a small knife from him. However, he makes big, beefy knives too, and beautiful handles. And this is all stuff done, I want to say 2 hours away. But really just so much good talent out there. That's why if you're looking for a good knife, this is the one I got. A little guy like this, I think with the sheath, it was $120. But all these guys are members of the Knife Makers Guild. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you have to do to be a member of the Knife Makers Guild, but they're just such artists. Artists with sharp shit. That's the way I look at it. With sharp, cool tools. Everybody wants sharp, cool tools. That's one thing that we can thank them for. These sharp, cool tools. Speaking of sharp, cool tools, this is an old Joke Wolf, one of the first Shane made. He was going to throw it away because he's not happy with it. It's got some imperfections, but I said, do not throw that away. This thing cuts. I want to say it's K390 or Magna Cut. But it's extremely slicey. Just a beautiful little blade. And I'm hoping to have really soon the Fret. The Fret is a knife that I designed with Shane that he's making that is, I think, awesome. It's exactly kind of what I wanted. See if I can find a picture of it. And we did some revisions on it. And it's this little guy right here. Those are glow pins. Just really thin, nice blade geometry on 64 Magna Cut. The little guy. But I'm hoping to have that in the next couple of weeks, along with a Thug to show off and do a review on, because I got to handle, and we took a bunch of Thugs over to Blade Show that we sharpened Thursday night. And I don't know if y'all have handled, I know some of y'all have Thugs, but I'll tell you, Thugs are an amazing design. Shane's Thug design is as good as any EDC fixed blade I've seen, and I've seen a lot of really good ones. I feel like I've seen a lot of good ones. I know there are a lot that I haven't seen out there, but the Thug is just chef's kiss all over. I think I've got a picture of one here somewhere close. I know I took some pictures of one at Blade Show. Yeah. Whoops. That's not it. And again, the photo's not good because I took it in a hotel room. But I can't stress to you how nice this little straight reverse Tonto with this gentle angle right here where your thumb goes. It's just a wonderful knife. And said Stevie got one, and he got one of the ones that that Sawtooth Dave did the hollow grind on. The one I'm getting is a flat grind. I mean, they're just little slicers. But I've not been able to show one. I got to experience it for the first time at Blade Show or handle one, but really think they need to be shown. They're so good. I know some of y'all have them. Kathleen, he does. And, you know, he did those. I think he drew them because he's the one that told me what to get in terms of these French curves to make, I guess, blades, because you just trace your thoughts. But his knives, his Heathen, his Thug, trying to think of some of the others, they're all such original designs. He's done a great job with that, with keeping them original. And then so much is to be said for not everybody needs the greatest heat treat or the finest steel. But if you're going to pay the same amount of money, why not get someone who has the capabilities with a small oven to do one knife at a time and get the heat treat right on a steel that you choose? Because in reality, if you think about it, the less number of times you have to sharpen that knife, the longer it's going to take to wear it out. So you're actually going to get a knife just like a tool with harder HRC that's going to wear a lot better. So even if it's a little more expensive in the upfront, which they're normally not, if you see fixed blade prices, I love sharpening knives. To me, I find it therapeutic, but we all know that we're taking metal off every time we do that, even if we're just taking a little bit off or honing them. So if it'll just stay sharp and cut, that works for me. I get spoiled though. I get to where I like it to make a certain sound going through anything I'm cutting. I don't like to feel any little burrs or any little rough spots in the cut. It's that's pings my OCD, which makes me first, I'll try to strop it out. And if it doesn't strop out, I'll have to sharpen it. Or put it back in the case and cut with something else till I get ready to sharpen something. But then I'll always forget which one needed to be sharpened. Let me show you guys something real quick. Let me pull Knife Works. So this is out of stock, and I was a little flipped out. I picked it up at my local knife store to do a review on it because it's not a gold class. I don't know if y'all can see that. But that is a Benchmade Adira with Damasteel and GL Suns, micarta G10 composite handle. It's a fisherman's knife, allegedly. It's part of their water series. The handle is GL Hansen and Sons. My bad. GL Hansen and Sons made the handle, which is evidently desirable because they do the best micarta and stuff. But this thing's $800, and I would have to pass. It's very nice. They're numbered. And ironically, they're sold out everywhere. So the one I reviewed is one of two that Knives and More has in stock. And they told me when I went to review it that they didn't think that, there were many out there because it was one that was, I think 200 were made. I could be wrong there. But I will give Benchmade, and I'm sure they're Benchmade fans that buy those type of exclusive knives, but I'll give them kudos for taking a knife like a Benchmade, which is a great knife, but then putting $600 worth of fluff on it, because that knife you can buy for $230. The Adira comes with MagnaCut, standard, and FRN for $230. And Damascene steel looks nice, but if I'm going to look at a knife for cutting bait on a boat or doing something like that, I think I'd rather have Magnum cut than Damascene steel. Now, allegedly, that Damascene steel is extremely stain resistant, stainless. But, you know, is it really? So, let me see if I can. I think I've still got this in my folder. I'm going to pull up a video that's going to go live tomorrow if I remember to. No, I deleted it. So I have to go over here. Let's see if I can find it and show it to you. Let me see if I can show it to you, because this is, I think, a very cool knife. A knife that I would have never considered buying, but now I'm really kind of interested in possibly trading for it. Oh, shit. I know what I've got to do. Never mind. I'm not going to be able to show it to you because I don't think I've downloaded it from iCloud yet. I hope that's the case. I hope I haven't just flushed that video. Here it is. Let's download that. And let's download that. And let's come back over to where y'all are. Hi there. I'm Javon. Welcome to Insomniac Sit and Spin. I'm downloading a couple of videos, one of which, well, one's a video and the other is a how you call it thumbnail. So I'm going to drop the thumbnail over in this folder. Then I'm going to drop the video. When it downloads, I'm going to show you the knife in the video because that's the whole purpose of this mental gymnastics that I'm now competing in. As I slowly wait for this to download. What I missed? Have I missed anybody? Nope. All right. It just downloaded. Let me grab it. Show that. All right. So this knife was designed, again, for underwater demolition teams. And I guess they needed a knife that would not only be waterproof resistant, but it would also deploy underwater. And this one does that, allegedly. I did not, in all fairness, try to deploy it underwater because I didn't want to get it wet. It wasn't my knife. But if I owned one, you're damn right, I would go underwater and I would deploy it. I'd go shark fishing underwater and I would deploy it when the shark came after me. So this is the knife. I think it is gorgeous. Mute it. Yes. Factory has been extremely sharp, and this one is no different. It's got a button lock because it is. Look how hard it fires. Operating under spring tension. Very thin knife. The package of this knife is thin. It goes in and out of pocket very well. Grab my pocket. We don't care about that, John. We want to see it on lanyards to make it easier to get in and out of your pocket. That is definitely a great place for a lanyard hole. Again, super. Do you see how fast that snap? Listen to this. A great place for a lanyard hole. Again, super strong on the spring. It is a banger. How do I get out of here? All right, let's do that. Let's do that. There we go. Yeah, prayers for everyone in Texas. What a horrible scenario. Mother Nature is ruthless. But big prayers and positive thoughts going out there. I'll tell you a concept that is huge that I've never, it's over in my other knife case. It's called the concept Super Hawk. This knife is bigger or as big as my 4-inch Spartan Harsey. So it's right there amongst the biggest in my collection. That knife right there. Let's see if they make it in a recurve. I've got it in a black. But that knife right there is 9 inches overall with a 3.89 inch blade. I love the Corvid, but if you're looking for a big honking concept, that Super Hawk is where it's at. I mean, that frame lock is, I mean, it feels thick, Medford thick. I don't think they're 1/4 inch sides, but they're much bigger than normal sides. And then this one, I think, is right under 200. And this one, and I don't know the name of it, but I will do a review on it, is right around 120 and 154 titanium and a very unique button lock. I love the blade. I've not cut it. I just took it out of the box for this live so I could show it to you guys. Something else I want to show you guys. Sit tight for 1 second because this is very cool. Be right back. I'm going to give you all some music. Hopefully y'all won't abandon me. Where's our good music? All right. I will be right back. I should play an ad for y'all, but I won't do that. All right, guys. Y'all still with me? A few of y'all at least. So I had a company reach out to me and wanted to show some stuff to me and share it with me. And I do not have an affiliate link or anything like that, but they've got an Amazon store. And they're called Key Unity. And what Key Unity does is they make all types of little titanium key rings, key things, but they also make so that's what their brand looks like. And we'll go to their Instagram. But then if you look at their products, they've got probably 50 different SKUs of different, everything from small knives that use scalpel blades to these that I thought were really cool. This is a little keychain Phillips head screwdriver that also has a magnetic thing where you can put a flat head in it. It comes with a little Phillips head, comes with a flat head and a key ring. So again, Key Unity means all these things are designed to be used with your key organizer system. So the other thing they sent, which was really cool that I actually asked for, and this goes on a chain. I should have gotten the single, not the double, but I got the double. Whoops. The badass titanium pencil sharpener. So if you do any drafting or anything like that, that goes on your keychain. a little chunk of titanium that sharpens pencils. And that's what I asked for. And then they sent a couple of other things, the screw and this kind of cool key ring. So I've got one of those little magnetic key rings on my key ring right now, but this little thing's got a beer opener. It's got a little thing that springs in, so I have to use a lot of pressure to push that in. Whoops. But if I wanted to hang other stuff on it that I could take off, just cool little stuff. You know, 11, 12 bucks. I think the sharpener was around 30 bucks. But I'll show you where they are. So I reached out to him after looking at them on Amazon because I was looking for a pencil sharpener for my drafting pencil. And they've got all kinds of crap. So if we go Key Unity, all one word. And if I share it with you, they've also got their own website, but I think it takes longer to ship. So this is a sharpener I was going to get. But it's just little and goes on a keychain, right? But they've got all these different belt key rings, or this is the kind of key ring I've got on my keys now. Little screwdrivers, little knives. Interesting stuff. And they've got a store. Where is it? They've got an Amazon store with just a bunch of different random stuff that you don't need, but that's kind of cool. Titanium paracords, different type of key rings. It was a company I thought was cool enough to reach out and ask them what they were all about. I don't know what you do with those D-rings, but I know people like them. Little whistles, which I wouldn't go with because I've never been able to blow those whistles. But yeah, they've got just a bunch of cool stuff. So I like these right here. I've actually got one of these, but not one of theirs. It's a little folding knife that you buy these scalpel blades. I've got it in my bug out kit. Mine's a little titanium locking one. But yeah, check out Key Unity if you like cool stuff that you don't need but's neat. Yeah, the key bars are really cool. I'm real bad about not liking to carry my keys. I like to leave them somewhere. But again, I reached out for them because of the pencil sharpener. That's what I was kind of interested in. But I like their packaging. I like their customer service. They seem really nice. I think they're Asian. I think they're a overseas company. And maybe they just use ChatGPT to write emails. Bama, I think I might have seen that one. That is a cool little tool. Did you get it on Amazon? Or did you get it somewhere else? Where's my... This is the little Bally that I got off of Amazon. It's titanium. My little box opener. But if you hold it the right way, the blade can't get you. But I've never been much into Bally songs. When I was a kid, we used to go down and play with them at the store at the mall and play with trainers and stuff like that. And I had a buddy that had them. Let me go right here. Oh, very nice. Yeah, those are great organizers. See, I only have, and I guess it would work for that. I've got 1, 2, well, that would go in that. I've got 1, 2, 3 keys. which looks like it'd be just about right. Here's that key bar. I like the way you've got it on your little hooks with your Gerber and your little Swiss Army knife. Very slick. Derek, we're hopefully everything's going to work out for you, buddy. And they're going to get you taken care of. And you'll be looking at shit that you don't want to see like I am. I'll show you guys the scalpel. Let me go to my purchased items here on Amazon. Titanium scalpel. And they make some that are a lot less expensive, but this was back when I was working and I wanted kind of a bougie one. So I think mine was like $40, but most of them are like 15. Here's mine. And I'll show it to you here in a second. That's the one I got. A little frame lock, but you can get a plain one for 23, 15, 23. I just got the bougie milled one. But it's got surprisingly good action. What it also has, surprisingly, is a very short stature. So when I'd go to flick it, there were at least 3 times I stuck the scalpel in my palm and bled profusely. Let me show it to you. Let me get it out of my little bug out bag here. Come back over to where y'all are. So I've got a bunch of stuff that would never help me in the apocalypse, but it's just kind of cool shit that I keep in my bug out bag. But when I would go like this to open it, I would cut myself right in the palm. So I've got to hold it like that. And it'll hold different shaped blades. So I've got a little Ziploc bag with sealed blades in there in case I'm ever out in the woods and have to cut somebody that got a rattlesnake bite or something. Hey, Todd Carr. But this was kind of a cool one. I bought it for a novelty more than anything else. And I've got to be very careful not to get my hand in that path. They make another scalpel blade that I ordered, and I ended up having to send it back. It had such horrible lock stick. It was unbearable. Another really good utility knife, and they're on the generation 3 or 4 now. This is an early generation tie. Yeah, Elegant Designs tie knife, flipper tab, drop shut, lock bar. A really good knife. Well built. I think they're about $85. They just use regular utility blades. Nothing too fancy. But when you're a knife junkie like me and you happen to be employed, which I'm not now, but I was, you'll find yourself collecting shit like this. This is a TS Designs custom. Got this little like shark type lock. You flick it out and it's a little handmade razor knife. It's got thumb studs, but they won't lock out unless you really give them a flick. I do better just using that lock or giving it a good whip. But that's a pretty interesting knife. They make a lot of fixed blades too over on Etsy. He makes little titanium fixed blade handles that you can put a utility blade in. And they're well done. I mean, a little bit rustic, but handmade by a dude. Which is kind of cool. Let me see if I can find him and show it to you on Etsy. Because the fixed blades, in hindsight being 2020, I wish I'd picked up one instead of the folder. Go to PS Designs, I think it's what it's called. Let's do this. Let's go razor knife. Uh-oh. Came right to it. I think that's one of his. Yeah, Teal Designs. I'm sorry. I had the wrong name. It's Teal, T-E-A-L Designs. And these are the kind of knives he makes. That's a little fixie. Very cool little sheath. I don't know if you can see that little metal sheath behind it. Let's see if it shows it. And then he makes, are y'all seeing that? No, you're not. Damn it. I tried to share something and y'all didn't get to see it. A little 6-inch, almost 7-inch fixie, right about $100. Teal Designs is what they're called. And let me show you a couple others real quick. I'll leave his link in there because he does so much neat stuff. I can't show it all to you. You'll get bored with me. But this is a karambit razor knife. $55. Very cool work. Again, made by hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find his store and I'm going to share it. I think this is it right here. Let's go copy. Here, paste. Put an S at the end. Enter. Exactly. Y'all go check this store out if you want to look at some cool razor knives that are kind of whack, that are made right here in the sunny USA. And he's over on Etsy, but has really good prices, I think, for what he's selling. What'd I do with that one? But yeah, when you look at the build quality on this, it's definitely built more like a knife than it is like a razor knife. Easiest thing is just to pull that handle and let it lock out. Looks like it has a Benchmade clip on it. He also makes pry bars. And I bought this pry bar from him, which is really cool because it holds 4 bits by magnets that you can either stick in the ass end or you can stick them in like a ratchet. But that's a Teal Design Works pry bar. Again, handmade. I think it was around $75 maybe. And I got both of those on Etsy. I did not see any of his pry bars though. Let's see. Go back to Teal. Yeah, he's got a few on here. Let me share. There's a little single screw. Trying to find one that had multiple screws. But he's got a lot of original work on here. Several pages. Really cool magnetic bit holder. Here are a bunch of single ones. $37. Let me share it with you. And this just holds one double-sided bit. Let me go back to here. Present. And let's keep looking for the big one. And I know he still makes those multiple bit ones. I feel pretty sure he does. Here's some little pocket ones, a little comb. There's that folding one like I've got in a different style. It's got some refinements, it looks like. But that's very similar to the one I just showed you guys, except it's got little skulls milled out of it. But I forget how I even found, I didn't see his stuff. I think I just saw it one night on Etsy. I don't think I saw it on anybody's channel, which is usually where I become aware of different stuff, is by watching somebody featured on the channel. We only got one more page. It's kind of different. Look at this, guys. If you're like a major bit driver guy, I think that's pretty slick. You can either do it horizontal or vertical. Little 4-inch tool. We're almost done looking at his stuff. Little fixed blades, little pry bars. And I don't think he sells anywhere but here on Etsy. So y'all go give him a check out. It's cool stuff, but I'm not seeing those multiple bit holders. I wonder what's the deal with that. I wonder if they were just too costly to make, or if I just haven't gotten to them yet. Looks like he's come up with a different way to do that with storing them in the side. Anyway, I'm gonna go to one more page, then I'm done. Last page. Nope, I don't see any multiples. I'm gonna jump to 10 because I'm like a gambling addict. Now I'm gonna leave humiliated. But he makes some cool stuff. Oh no, what happened, dude? How'd you lose everything? Good to see you, but that totally sucks. I had a big scare over the weekend. Have a good night. Have a good night, Kathleen. Take care, sweetheart. SC, what happened? Was it a community thing or was it a hacking thing? And you don't have to be specific. But I was on chat with YouTube for about 2 hours on Saturday because I couldn't log into my studio. I couldn't get in, and I thought I'd been hacked. But luckily I hadn't. But SC Knives, that sucks, dude. Just get you another one started and we'll drive traffic to it. What's it say when we go to your channel? Let me see something. Let me do a little back end searching here. A little sleuthing. Did they just pull it? Dude, that sucks. SC, did they pull it or did you? Because we can definitely send you some traffic on your new. Here you are. So did you start the new one, the SC Knife Monkey? Is that the one you started? Because if it is, I'll share it. Because I see there are 3 videos on one. Are you going to start another channel? And I know it's hard to type when people are asking you questions. I'm seeing a page here, but I don't know if this is his new page or the page he's going to go with right here. New account. Wait a minute. Let me get the volume, guys. Hold on.
When I was trying to delete another account so I can get. So now please come and subscribe. Hey guys, South Carolina Knife Monkey here. I had to recreate my account. I lost it when I was trying to delete another account so I can get.
Hey, SC Knife Monkey, what you might want to do is, I don't know if you tried to reach out through your creator chat to see if there's any way YouTube can help you recover it. Here's the new page, guys, I think. And it's SC Knife Monkey. Tell me if this is you, because I think that's the one I just watched the video on. I think that's it. But you should be able to reach out to YouTube and tell them what happened and see if there's any way that they can keep you. Is that the same one, Todd? Let me look. Make sure I'm not. I'll delete mine if it's wrong. Yep. Yeah, y'all go. Just check. I had 54 now. You went down to 38. Hold on a second. 39. Did you? That's got to be weird, dude. If you had 54 and you're going down, please do reach out to YouTube and see if there's any way that they can help you recover that. Because what it might be doing is thinking that there's been bot traffic or something. Because your sub should be going up with people here subbing. 39, 40. And I'll watch a video to make sure.
Hey guys, South Carolina Knife Monkey here, making this new sheath.
Make sure it knows I'm engaged with it. But dude, that sucks. I thought I had a similar issue happen. I really did. I thought I might be totally screwed, panicked, and then realized I got myself to the point to where I was just going to let it be what it was going to be. I wasn't going to worry about it. And it turned out I'd logged into my Google account wrong. That's true. That's why we used to do giveaways and spotlight a channel, and then we realized people would get 100 subs, and then the next day they'd lose 3/4 of them. The trick is when you sub to a channel, just for everybody's sake, always watch a short, like the video, leave a comment, do something that shows you're a human. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the trick to it. Just watch a little of the content, hit a thumbs up, and it'll keep you as a valid sub.
As always, guys, y'all
If you
know
want
I'm a
to
Kaiser
comment,
guy. So, I love my Kaisers. As always, guys, y'all know I'm a Kaiser.
but I really would think if it was an accident and it happened recently, like if it happened today or yesterday, that you might be able to work with YouTube and get it put back into your Google queue. Because I know what you're talking about. You deleted probably that whole profile. Dude, I know that's brutal. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. We can always make more content, but it sucks and your subs will come back quickly too. I mean, let Maddie know he's got a live tomorrow. Just let everybody know what happened so they can get the word back out and go resub to you. But that is brutal. Good morning, everybody. We've gotten through Tuesday. It is Wednesday in the house. Paul's liked your stuff. He's giving you love. And Maddie will spread the word tomorrow. What's up, Maddie? I don't know if you were here earlier, Maddie, but I was sent from Concept a knife that turned out to be a KC knife that is fantastic. The Thunderhead. A big PM2 sized front flipper. Been very impressed with it. Concept's killing it, in my opinion, for the value. I mean, the value per dollar. Granted, you're not getting M390 S90V, you're getting S35, but you're getting that at under a $200 price point, which is pretty cool. There's never too many people, Derek. There were a ton of people when I started mine, and just start it for the reasons that you want to. I do it for therapy because I like to talk to myself. Really, I don't, but I do it for therapy to give me something to do. And people will watch you. There's so many different types of content. I was in a Tri-States Live lurking for a little while tonight, and I might have recognized 2 people out of the 130 that were in there. Every other one of them I've never seen in my life. There's so many people that are coming into the knife game every week that do it, buddy. Make you one and just do your own Derek authentic read on different knives. Yeah, Geek Machinist, as long as I know what I'm getting, right? And I don't have a problem with for what I cut with. I don't need a lot of the super steels that I have. I have them because they were offered in the knives that I wanted, and I bought into a lot of the, you need the best steel for the task, even though I might not personally be performing that task. You still want to get it the way it should be, if you're like me. And I do like sharpening better steels. I do think that you can feel a lot of difference between some of the Chinese D2s and American S45, for example. I haven't had to sharpen Spyderco's yet, but I'm looking forward to sharpening some of those pretty soon. But I really need to cut down a lot more cardboard. When I was in that relationship for 4 years, that chick, one of her deals was she bought stuff off Amazon every week. I mean, I'd go in her garage every Sunday and we'd have to cut down. I'd have to cut down like 40 boxes. And I'd take a little, like a Maxpedition pack with a bunch of different knives that were all slicey and cut with them. And I'd dull knives and I'd have to sharpen them because I'd cut so much cardboard. Derek, I can drive, and this is my social interaction, buddy. I have more fun and feel more at ease in chat rooms, whether I'm in the chat room or I actually like being in the chat rooms as much as streaming, but just to connect with people. And then one time a year, get to bump into people at Blade Show. And what I've trying to think if I've ever been surprised. I don't think I've ever been surprised in a personality of someone I met being different than I thought it would be in a negative way. I have been pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by Super Steel Steve. When I first met him, I thought he was going to be a lot more brash, and I was surprised to find him so warm and engaging and helpful to a buddy of mine who was trying to buy some fixed blade kitchen knives. Satu Dave, I was very impressed when I met him, and every year I meet him, but most everybody's just like you think. I mean, they're as kind as they are in the chat rooms. They come up and talk. You have good conversations. Y'all are talking about knives. It's a fun thing if you could ever make it happen. Even if you just go for a day. Last year, I just went Saturday, drove in and drove out with Dark Gravity, and we had a blast. Bologna is such a good knife. Miguron, Paul, is, to me, I think it was 2 years ago, the Moirel was my top budget knife. The Miguron Moirel is a great knife. $39. They've even made it, I think they've upgraded it into a tie. Miguron. And I'll still put it up there with anything. What I have gotten into is the Civivi Vision FG. I think it's more of a budget winner, but it's twice the price of this knife. This knife, I don't want the button lock. It's gone up a little bit, but that's a great knife right there. 14C, it's got snappy detent, tall flat ground blade. I think they offer it in tie. Yeah, they've done a couple of bougie ones. And Miguron as a whole makes really good knives. AM8, for those of you who might see an AM8 knife, are also Miguron. They're Miguron's other brands for some reason. Miss Bees is a sweetheart. And Bees is a super nice guy. I mean, just because I don't watch a lot of his content and, buy into a lot of his style, I think he's a fantastic human. Really nice guy. And she's wonderful. I'll tell you, who's also a sweetheart is Kara, Cole's wife, Tri-State's wife. She's a winner. Hopefully she keeps him grounded. And Derek, you don't appear, you appear because of your glasses to maybe vision impaired, but you make eye contact. You don't appear to be sight impaired. Yeah, Bees is a really nice guy. You'll find a few that are kind of caught up in their own thing, right? But then you'll also see people like Melissa Backwoods, who has more followers than anybody, and she's sweet enough to stop and have a conversation with anybody. I saw and met Alex from Outdoor 55 and really enjoyed meeting him. I love his content. He does a lot of sharpening content, edge retention content, HRC content. He fights with some other knife tubers, but he's the kind of the scientific one that comes in and checks people if they're putting out false facts. But he was a really nice guy. He was exactly like you would think when you see him on YouTube. I mean, his personality is quirky. He's quirky, but he's a nice guy, and he's very professional. I think he's got a very successful channel. This is him. I don't know if y'all follow Outdoors 55, but he's definitely one worth following.
What's up, guys? In today's episode, we're going to be discussing a couple different things. The first one is, why are we doing a filler episode?
He's very
Second one
smart.
is, why do I look like this?
Very
The
smart.
third one
nice
is,
guy.
should non-knife people be designing knives? Kind of a controversial issue, I know, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this.
We won't even watch this video, but I urge y'all to watch it. Should non-knife people be designing knives. I don't know what that means, but here's a link to one of his videos. But you can subscribe to his channel, and I would recommend it because he's got good content. He doesn't put out content diarrhea like I do every day. He puts out a video a month or a video every 2 weeks. It's a well thought out video where he's talking about HRC. Yeah, Derek, he's great. Did you meet him in Atlanta? I met him a couple of times. Super nice guy. And legit. I mean, I feel like when I was watching his videos back in the day, he's not trying to sell anything. Well, he kind of is a work sharp sweeper, ball washer, but that's okay. I mean, we all like what we like. And that's why I don't have a problem. And I can understand why there's no such thing as a non-biased review. I mean, as objective as I try to be when I'm reviewing this knife, I've got my own personal biases of things I like a button lock, which a lot of people don't like. And then I love thumb studs. So I'll probably have a more favorable opinion of this knife than someone who doesn't like those things. And we can still talk about objectively the materials, how it all comes together, how the action works, but people won't agree on that. So I don't fault someone for being a fan of Work Sharp. I'm a fan of TS Prof. I used to be a fan of Work Sharp and had a Work Sharp Pro, not the Pro, but I had the Work Sharp vertical sharpening system. Before that, I had a Spyderco system. And then when I got my TS Prof Blitz, I've never looked back because it just works so well for me. I went with the Pioneer, but they're just good. It's hard to get a non-biased review, but he's doing informational, educational type content, I think. Granted, there's a lot of back and forth with him and some other channels that they don't agree on things, but he's got a real HRC tester. So in his studio or his shop, he's got one of the big, like Brian Kim has, one of the big HRC testers. If we go to videos, he's got content. I like his thumbnails too. I was trying to find one where he goes off on somebody. Maybe this is it. I'll go follow Alex.
In stock and ready to ship free the next day. Zoro.
Freaking ads. This is just going to be about good heat treat versus bad heat treat.
Now, you may think that this video won't have any practical applications to you non-knife makers, but it does. Especially the last portion of this video, which I'll link to in a chapter below. Because if you think high
he
HRC
does really good
numbers
edits, which you don't think about.
To a good heat treatment,
what you don't think about is he's not doing the fancy edits with a lot of sound effects, but he's doing what I think are professional good edits into his
numbers always correspond to a bad heat treatment. You may want to stay tuned. So I wanted to show and talk about a couple of ways that a Rockwell tester can be fooled. There should be at least 64. Yep, 61.4. So we're
very good content though. I urge you guys to go watch him because he puts a lot of facts out there. He does some really good, I don't think investigative work, but just kind of some myth busting. And some things that get perpetuated throughout the community. When he sees misinformation out there, he not only calls out the misinformation, he calls out the perpetuator and offers them to come on and debate it. Yeah, an HRC tester leaves a little dimple usually up around your pivot. And there's a bunch of, there was a bunch of back and forth on the real HRC testers versus the little digital ones that one guy reviewer dude uses. And they had a big back and forth. But those big testers are calibrated and they come down. You've got a control block that's at X amount of HRC and they calibrate it to that. and then when you strike it with that pin, I don't know, you only have to strike it once, and it divots and reads what that it took to make that divot. So I don't know why it doesn't go higher than that. Yeah, the little digital ones are made for bigger metal, not really blade metal. And they read a different measurement. There was a whole back and forth about that. I think it was on what's his name's channel. This guy, let's see if he has HRC video where he was bitching about that, because he was going back and forth with that one guy. But I don't know how long ago it was. I'm not going to bore y'all with that. Live extreme rant. That's not it. That's not it. Yeah, I don't see it. But anyway, he's got some very cool, not just sharpening content, which I can find kind of boring, but he talks about the whys, the whats, the hows, and the myths, the things that, you know, are not necessarily true. And he shows you why they're not necessarily true. And again, it's up to the viewer to decide. But I think he's very, very credible, and he's a really nice guy. Very shy. See, that's the video I wanted to see. The pin styles. It takes an average, and that's what he did a video specifically with him, or not with him, but addressing him. Maybe this is it. Let me see. See, this is it. No, that was the drama that shouldn't have been drama. I don't know if y'all remember when several of them went out to Work Sharp, Jared, Alex, several of those guys, and a bunch of the community were upset that it was a paid for trip, which I don't really know. This is it right here. Let me share this with you. And then this is where he just shoots it.
That this block provides.
So he goes through the science of why. So this is that whole tester thing. And I don't know why his videos are not wanting to. Maybe it's my computer lagging.
So if you're like me and ever seen these Lieb type hardness testers floating around for relatively cheap on Amazon and wondered if they were suitable for testing knives, well, today we're going to find out. And spoiler alert, they're not.
He's
let
so
me show
good.
you why.
And
real quick, before we get started, just know that
out.
this is going to be somewhat technical video, but I've got to get this information out there so that
trust me,
the people who
he did his homework. But then I think the guy called him out, and I think he did a response video. Hold on a sec. Maybe not. But anyway, there was some drama back and forth between there. But if you want like some good fact stuff, Outdoor 55 Alex is the man. He is good. But a super nice guy. I mean, again, you meet him, he's a big channel, and he acts normal. Now, there's several friends of mine that are like, they've been poured into a celebrity's body. And it's not a good look. Neil, good night, buddy. Maddie goes live tomorrow at, is it 5 o'clock Central, Maddie? Usually when I'm sleeping. Geek Machinist, but won't the pin style work on some types of material, like thicker material? I think the HRC is the way to go, and they sell those files on Amazon. They sell these different files that you scrape on the knife until you can scrape it, and evidently those things do the when you scratch it, that's the HRC of the blade. But I don't think they're very scientific. 4 p.m., that's 5 p.m. Central Time. Arizona time is the one that doesn't change. Y'all always throw me off for said faction. Sometimes it's an hour earlier, and sometimes of the year it's 4 hours. But I respect you, Arizona people. Maddie's put faith in me in Arizona, getting to know him. But it is a hot state. I bet it's brutal out there today. I bet it's smoking hot. Really impressed with this and have a review coming soon. I do like it better than the liner lock, even though the liner lock's great because this geometry and what makes this knife to me so special, the fact that it cuts is the same. The frame lock to me is a little more refined and it's thinner just a little bit, which the knife's plenty thin as it is. And I got the coarse G10, which is fabulous because it rides on the inside of your pocket, not against your pants, but it's very, very coarse. Maddie, stay inside, dude, or stay in where you work. That's brutal. I mean, I can't imagine walking out and getting in a car after it's been that hot. And everybody says, well, it's dry heat, but it's still heat. Heat out the yin yang. That's brutal, buddy. I'd love to go to Blade West, but that's really not in the cards for me. And I think Atlanta, I don't think there's much I'd see at West, except the people twice a year, which would be worth it. Because they canceled the Nashville show that they used to have every year in November. This year's not going to be here. But I think if I just can keep going to Blade Atlanta each year, that's good for me. Yeah, Blade West, I hear, is really cool. And a smaller show, like when I used to go to the Nashville show, which was a very small show. It was in 2 halls in the Sheraton, but you have access to the same makers, and it's so much more intimate in terms of being able to talk to these people. Hold on, let me go to Geek Machinist list, see what he's got in his link. Little Amazon mini Kardashian. I used to buy an Amazon knife almost every week, a little one to test it. And this would be one like I tested for $15. Probably a no-name steel, but doesn't need to be. $57.59 hardness. A little bit bigger than I would have thought it was.
'Cause I love you for infinity.
I mean, for $15, you can't go wrong. If we go to my purchase list, we go to my orders, and we go a couple of years into it, you'll see that I've gotten some funky ass. Whoops. I'm not putting my pin in there. Let me out of there. All right, I don't know what that was doing, guys. I apologize. But if I go back to like 2023, I would buy funky fixed blades, funky knives on Amazon all the time and review them and then give them away. I've got an Amazon store, by the way. If y'all go to my my bio, I've got an Amazon store link where you can see most of this stuff. I like these little Omesa knives. I think I bought 3 of them with different blade shapes. They're small little neck knives, $24. This little knife's the one that I bought and returned. It had a terrible lock stick. But this is the kind of stuff that I bring in that people seem to really watch. Like if I get a ton of views on Amazon stuff. People for some reason like Amazon stuff. I thought I was going to find that real funky one. I gave this away, but this is a cool, very highly recommendable utility knife. Titanium frame lock, flipper. Really got into these Rovivon lights. I think they're better than an Olight by every stretch of the imagination. No offense, Olight. It's just facts. Weehaw bits. Always get my Weehaw bits. Kyle Coonley tells me there are better bits out there, but I always forget what they are. Ethan Grows. That's what got me into my Strider phase. So in a second, we're going to see the knife that got me the most grief as a knife reviewer, mainly perpetuated by Lefty EDC. Guys, that knife's $55, regularly $69.99. It looks just like a Strider SMF, except it doesn't say Strider on it. It's an F & Grow EF225. I bought it expecting to just rip it apart. It's as good of a knife. I've since bought a Strider and a couple of Protect Striders, but it's built so well. I took it apart thinking I could tear it apart by the internals. The internals are done extremely well. Yes, it's D2, but it's 1/4 of an inch thick. Most people would be shimmering that I think it's a good knife. And I think if you don't like Striders, you might find yourself like me ending up buying 3 of them after you get one of these knives. And I gave this one away. This is a little bigger, but $55. It was $69 when I got it. But yeah, that's the biggest grief I got. I got so much grief for that knife. Whoops. I need to go to 8. But yeah, I used to get a ton of fixed blades because they were good knives to review and they were good knives to give away. GRB. This is a fantastic knife. I think I bought 3 of these. This is a Cold Steel Tough Light. If you're looking for a small lock back with a wicked hollow grind, fantastic choil for $26. Can't really beat that. It's a great knife. And then I picked up knives like this. $9.59. 9CR. I mean, again, they're just, what I do is I would get into Amazon and I would search EDC fixed blade knife. So I'd go up here late at night and I'd go EDC fixed blade knife. Knife. And then I'd search that. And then I'd start scrolling and then it'd get like, I don't know what a Nazar is for $126, but that's insane. Sponsored. See, I'd stay away from that. No, thank you, sir. You used to not see these on Amazon. But then I'd scroll. I bought this knife before and gave it away. Handle wasn't very comfortable. Mini Harpoon, one of my favorite small EDC fixies. But it just goes on and on and on. I mean, there are all kinds of EDC fixed blades. I bought one of these that I still got. I need to give that away in a giveaway. I've got one of these in aluminum. I've got this one right here. It's a folding. It also goes into a push dagger. But yeah, that's how I find weird knives to try out from Amazon. Now, lately, I haven't been doing that as much. Now, these little Vosteeds interest me. These are very small. These just came out. And that knife is got a 2-inch blade. I'm guessing it's probably under 5 inches. But a lot of off-name brands that I would pick up off of here and just try out. Because they were cheap enough to try out. And now you've got so many companies like Vosteed, Kaiser, Civivi, CV Life. You get to see what they're trying to do there? Trying to trick you. Buyer beware. Amazon's become the Wild West. But they've got some cool little interesting knives for not a ton of money. Some better than others, but you don't know until you check them out. See, that is a replica copy of a Benchmade Flyaway. Benchmade Flyaway is like $200. That's 23. Again, I'm not suggesting it. I'm not saying it's a clone. It looks a lot like it. That looks a lot like it too. But they've got cool stuff. And if you want to throw a wrench in there, I'll also go titanium. Now, Amazon doesn't have the best search engine in the world, but it will pull different stuff. But yeah, you can find some good fixed blades, and you'll find weird stuff like this that you're like, who the hell is that? And why is it on Amazon? And why is it almost $200? And it's got 2 stars. There's a lot of junk on Amazon now. But anyway, cool stuff you can check out. Very cool stuff you can check out. The Thug is great with the flat grind, dude. I'm telling you, I saw Stevie's before he got it that had a hollow grind. It was nice. And then the thinness of the flat grinds, chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. I've got a couple of knives that sawtooth ground for me. I've got my 4Max, which I can't quite reach. That was tricky. I could reach it. So this is my Cold Steel 4Max. It has a Sawtooth Dave hollow grind. Sick. Sawtooth Dave is the man. So does everybody got a busy week? We've got Manny live tomorrow night at 5 or 4 o'clock Arizona time. The rest of us have to figure it out. Thursday night, who goes live Thursday nights? I know Lefty used to. I don't know who I'll watch Thursday night. Stevie, the Honey Bucket. I know I'll wait for that, but there's somebody that goes live before it that I don't watch. And then Friday night, we're back over here because I do warm up for Said Faction, which is on right after me. And guys, my parts for my lawnmower didn't come in. They're coming tomorrow. They got held up, but I might film that. I've watched so much content. I think I'm going to breeze through it that I might film it just for shits and giggles. But guys, we're coming up on 3 hours. It's late. It's getting close to 1 o'clock. I feel guilty when I keep y'all up too late. I do appreciate y'all hanging out. And I will stay here late. I have no problem with it. I just know everybody's getting tired, starting to drop. So I'm going to tell y'all to do me a favor. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Y'all have a great, great night. Have a great morning. If you're like me, you're getting ready to make videos. If you guys are like you guys, normal, you're probably getting ready to go to bed. Have a great night. Have a great work day tomorrow. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for one another. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all, guys. Peace.
The light went out because we left a little bit, but are you high on cigarettes? And when that stuff runs out, you're gonna want to make it. Are you high on cigarettes?
Let's watch two wrongs witness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch two wrongs witness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch two wrongs witness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch two wrongs witness and get high on cigarettes. know that you're right or wrong? Do you know that you're right or wrong? Do you know that you're right or wrong? Do you know that you're right or wrong? He don't smoke them, but he loves it when you do. That's why he's high on cigarettes. And if you find him, you should light him up with you.